Alumni friends, it's time for another NHCC alumni coffee break. It's Troy, the alumni guy, and welcoming to our virtual stage here. I tell you, Davin, you have been just a force here at North Hennepin. I know that you were in public safety, you work for
Yeah.
public safety, you received a number of scholarships from the campus, and I know you interacted with one of our donors at one point as well. And it is such a pleasure to have Davin Hegland join us.
Yes, happy to be here.
Awesome, man. And I salute you, boom, with our North Hennepin Community College alumni coffee mug. So, you were telling me about some interesting experiences you had at North Hennepin.
Yeah, yeah. Our college likes to talk a lot about the community and the diversity our college campus has, and that's really been some of the best experiences I've had is talking to staff and student members on campus. So, especially now that we're kind of seeing some transition between in person and online, I'd really like to say, kind of talk about those. I had for sociology, I had a professor, his name is Chen. And I just love the way that he phrased and did his classes because, you take something like sociology, you can get very technical with the wording and how you take care of things. You can say, well, here's how this rigid aspect of society is, but he did a really good job of talking about how these concepts are kind of unique and how they interplay and work as individuals and together. One of the jokes I always like to make against because I'm in criminal justice myself, I like to make amongst my other classmates is that I've always had one teacher who says that the key to policing is to make community policing look sexy. So remember that phrase forever now. So,
Of course, of
uh,
course. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and you're a law enforcement graduate, and I
I
feel
am.
like you told me you moved to a different state or were planning to.
I was thinking about doing it. Again, with the pandemic kind of changing work conditions, law enforcement students in Minnesota have an easier time getting jobs, especially in the southern states. So that was something I was considering. I ended up just staying up here, and I'm going to start in the kind of private sector security industry, and then move into law enforcement now. So
Great, great. That's awesome. Yeah, a great program here, and I know you had pretty interesting times in the skills course. I remember you
yep,
sharing that
yeah.
with me. Yeah,
So yeah, it's kind of nice now we have that exception that lets us do in-person classes amongst the pandemic. But before, especially students who were in spring skills at the time that this all was implemented, they had a lot of figuring out to do, and my hats off to them. So
absolutely. You were sharing, that the classes were, interesting and dynamic, and that sounded like a favorite memory. Some of the teachers that you had, etc. Name some other favorite memories of the campus.
sure. Like I said, I was in public safety, so I got to walk around campus a lot, and it was always, especially pre-pandemic when you had a lot more people moving around. I always loved to see the people who found those little nooks and corners in campus and kind of turned it into their own little home away from home, especially for a study break or something like that. I know we have that kind of corner table in the second level of BHCC building,
Yeah.
um, and I always see at least six people over in that corner there. So studying away, and I just love seeing that because it's kind of reaffirms that the campus is doing their job, and me as a part of that, it really was nice to see. So I
Yeah.
just, you know, especially when you get these like weird obscure corners where you think nobody's going to study here, and here they are. So
Here they are. Here they
yeah,
are. Yeah, I love that observation. It's true. There's lots of little nooks around North Hennepin, and students
yeah.
make it their home, and that ends up where they like and are most comfortable. So
Yeah, yeah. And we even had about six students or so who would always play some video games together down in the lower level of campus center as well. I'm not sure if they were part of the official club or not, but even as we kind of limited access, it's that they always found that same table to go to until essentially we said we're closing the campus. So kind of been mixed feelings there because it's kind of sad to see them go. But I always loved knowing that at least at 6 o'clock there they are. So
absolutely, yeah, yeah. Wonderful. And you had some advice to share regarding online and the pandemic, it sounded like as well.
yeah, yeah. I want to share just a couple things that I've tried and found out helped me through this because it is really, at least for me, it was jarring because it's like 1 minute I'm here doing classes and 1 minute I'm online, and I'm the kind of person that really does better in brick and mortar. But something I want to remind people too is just that it really does help if you kind of get a little bit of like a morning routine in there, and you kind of get dressed for the day or take a shower, whatever your thing is. Really keep that going because it kind of sets your brain up to keep going and doing stuff in the day, even if it may not be out there at campus.
Yes. Yeah. That's a great tip. And I've heard that tip before, so thanks for highlighting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we sure miss you in the hallways, Davin.
Yeah, yeah. I miss being in the hallway, so
Yeah, yeah. Well, don't be a stranger. Now that you're an alum, you can come back any old time, and maybe even as you get into your law enforcement career, come on back and mentor some new students in
that'd
law.
be my pleasure too.
That'd be wonderful. Fantastic. Well, on behalf of Davin Hegland, this is Troy, the alumni guy, signing off for now. Tune in every Tuesday for another NHCC alumni coffee break.